Quick question. Have you ever had one of those weeks where nothing technically blew up, but everything went sideways or wonky? Think it like the internet was unstable, a key employee is unexpectedly out, a vendor misses a delivery, the schedule starts slipping, calls pile up, you're issuing refunds or making promises you can't comfortably keep up. And the frustrating part is this. It doesn't feel like a crisis while it's happening. It feels like just another messy day, then another. Then you're behind. Then you're apologizing. And before you know it, you're spending 2 more weeks trying to catch up. Ah, so frustrating. Hi, I'm Warren with Porter's to Porter, Everyday Business Resilience. My job is to give business owners like you plain English steps you can use right now to protect your time, your customers, and your cash flow. Today, I want to make the cost of a lost week visible, because when you can see it clearly, you can reduce it. When owners tell me we lost a week, they usually mean we couldn't operate normally for a week. But the real cost isn't just the interruption. The real cost is in the chain reaction afterwards. I'm going to break it down into 5 buckets. You don't have to love math. You just need to know where the damages actually comes from. Bucket number 1 is the revenue you don't get back. This is the one that sounds obvious until you realize how much of your business is time sensitive. If you're appointment-based, it's the patients, the clients who don't reschedule. If you're retail, it's the customers who go somewhere else because you were closed, you were slow, or you were out of stock. If you're service-based, it's the jobs that get pushed back and then collide with the next week's jobs. And there's a second layer people miss. A lost week can also create future revenue loss. Because when you're behind, you respond slower, you miss calls, you quote later than normal, and the next opportunity quietly disappears. So just don't count the day you were down. Count the sales that didn't happen because your operation was limping. Bucket number 2. Bucket number 2 is recovery cost. What you spend to climb out of that hole. Overtime, rush shipping, emergency vendor fees, temporary fixes, outside labor. It's the emergency spending that only shows up when you're in a hurry. Even if you don't write one big check, it usually shows up as a dozen smaller costs that don't look like disruption costs until you add them up. Bucket 3. Bucket 3 is customer trust and reputation drag. This one is easy to undercount because it doesn't show up neatly in your accounting. If customers don't know what's going on, or if you can't give them clear timelines, or if you go quiet, they start to assume the worst. It's not because they're mean, it's because they have their own lives and businesses to run. Good customers can handle a problem. What they don't handle is uncertainty. So the cost here isn't just refund, it's a slower return rate. It's the drop and repeat business. It's the we found another option, and the friction makes the next sale harder. This means a lost week can turn into a lost month of momentum. Next is bucket 4. Bucket 4 is staff strain and avoidable mistakes. When operations break, people improvise. Sometimes that's necessary, but it also creates inconsistency, confusion, and stress. You'll see more mistakes, more rework, more who's doing what, and if the owner is the only decision maker, everybody waits. This bucket matters because it affects quality, it affects morale, and it affects retention. In a small business, one resignation at the wrong time can turn a rough week into a real crisis. Next is bucket number 5. Bucket 5 is administrative drag, what I call lost Saturdays. Rescheduling, billing problems, reconciling payments, chasing vendors, redoing paperwork, responding to customers, cleaning up loose ends. Business is back, but you're still paying for the disruption with your time. And time is a business asset. If disruption steals your time, it steals your ability to lead, sell, plan, and grow. Now I want to lay in something practical from last month's audience question. As you may remember, we ask a monthly question and we do a poll. So last month we asked, if your internet and phones went down for half a day tomorrow, which of these feels most true for your business? A was, we would be fully stuck. We couldn't really operate until everything came back. B was, we could operate in a limited way, but it would be stressful and messy. C, we have a backup plan, but I'm not sure it would actually work. D, we have a clear, tested plan. It would be frustrating, but we would keep going. The most common answer was B. limited operations, stressful and messy. That's exactly what a lost week looks like in the start. Not dramatic, just messy, and it gets expensive. So here's this month's question. If you had one lost week, sales are down, scheduled, blown up, extra expenses, what's the most realistic total hit for your business? Is it under 2,000? 2,001 to 5,000? 5,001 to 10,000? Or over 10,000? Now, there's no wrong answer. What matters is you have an answer, because that number tells you what you need to protect first. So let's make this even easier. I want you to build a simple Lost Week Scoreboard. Now, this isn't a spreadsheet that takes all day. This is just a short list you can reuse every time something happens. Here's what goes in it. Estimated revenue missed or delayed. Extra labor costs like overtime or temp help. Extra vendor costs like rush fees or emergency support. Refunds, discounts, and comps. Lost appointments or jobs that didn't get recovered. Administrative catch-up hours, owner and staff. Customer impact count, how many were delayed or affected. Staff impact, call-outs, stress, mistakes, or near misses. Any reputation drag, complaints, cancellation, bad reviews. And one sentence, what actually caused the disruption. Now that last line matters, because the point is just not to measure the pain. The point is to reduce the chances of it happening again. So in my many years of experience, a lost week usually isn't one big disaster. It's a handful of small breakdowns that compound, especially when the first hour isn't clear. That's where we can help. If you'd like to see how this works in practice for your business, book a 15-minute Lost Week snapshot with us. Or you could take the free 2-minute resiliency assessment. Either way, you can download a 1-page Lost Week calculator. Links for everything are in the description. I appreciate your time. Thank you.